4 teams jostling for 3 places they don't want.
So we're going to batch up 4 teams here because the cause for concern is not 1, not 2, not 3, but the entire bottom 4, Sam. And are we at the point where, with Birmingham having changed the manager and Plymouth's perhaps durability, and then the distance between Blackburn and Sheffield Wednesday being 10 points, are we at a lock now for the bottom 4? Is it going to be 3 from 4? Is that pretty much nailed on now?
Oh, it's difficult to see anyone capitulating to the extent that's going to bring them involved. I would say of the teams directly above, I would say Argyle can't afford to lose any more players, and they're going to have a good January. I think that's fair on the back of Kessler Hayden going as well, Kundal, Azaz. But there's something inside of me which would echo your sentiment 30 seconds ago. Just a continuation of a similar appointment, the nucleus of the spine of the team remaining. And if they can keep Whittaker and Hardy, I think those 2 will provide enough to keep them steer. And the other one would be Blackburn. But again, you probably trust the manager. You probably trust the ability to just pull a result out of the hat, and put a team to the sword, away from home, just when you feel like they are on desperate kind of slide towards trouble, they'll pull something out. So,
and Sam, you look at that points total and it's at 32, and you would think 13 points from 19 games, three wins and a few draws, and it's probably enough at 32 points, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that emphasises just how far away the bottom 3 have become. Let's look at Rotherham first. This is desperate, isn't it? I suppose a desperate result of the weekend off the back of 3 unbeaten, but not being able to build really on that Middlesbrough victory. Just 2 points from the subsequent 3. I don't know if you looked at it. I think there were 7 shots in the Rotherham Stoke game at the weekend. So creatively, I think is the biggest issue right now. When you look, the back 3 of Revan, Adofin and Morrison is actually improved than I would suggest. But creative wise, they've only scored multiple goals twice in the last 13 games, and it's only yielded 1 point those 2 games. They had the draw at Plymouth, was it? And the point against, they lost, didn't they, at Plymouth narrowly, and they got the draw against Blackburn 2-2. So that's the biggest issue now. And there's problems with Kioso, was missing ill at the weekend. He's been recalled, hasn't he, from his loan. I don't think, or I'm not sure if he's going to play a part. Lembakisa gone back as well, so they're going to have to do some business in January. And penny for the chairman's thoughts, having not had that maybe immediate upturn, and it's not been a disaster. I don't know, Neil Warnock speed dial February.
I think I know it was a bit of a cliche, but when you bring in the manager who was the champion of League One a couple of seasons ago, it does give off a certain message about why he may or may not be there, Sam. But just move on. QPR, we've gone from being fairly optimistic with Mr. Cifuentes to, the off-pitch mess is, now problematic again, and there's going to be no business essentially done. And now the results have dropped off as well.
Yeah, my brother texted me, because we were going to go to the game. He texted me about 5 minutes into the second half, and we've been discussing Sinclair Armstrong, and my goodness me, he'd give him a game yesterday. But when you get presented with 2 1-on-1s, essentially,
free header in the first half as well.
Free header in the first half, you got to have someone there that can put the ball in the back of the net. And absolutely, I think it can work. The reason it's probably not working at the moment, the obvious thing is he's missing chances, but he's playing with a striker who ironically did get a goal yesterday. But they need someone maybe for him to play with. I think to me that's obvious. They need a better caliber striker. Willock's not at it at the moment, so this isn't going to be a 2-minute kind of conversation pinpointing QPR's flaws because they've got a raw young centre forward who's not putting the ball in the back of the net. Willock needs to be better. But I look at that team, and my brother texted me and said this is going to be 2-0 Watford after 5 minutes of the second half. There's a vulnerability about them. Even in their kind of their setup, Watford, I still felt there was a little bit more explosiveness, a bit more vigour, a bit more creativity in their forward play. And I always fancied them to get a goal before QPR. That's the honest truth. I think there's a vulnerability defensively. I thought the midfield of Colback and Field, so samey. How long have I been saying that about QPR? They need a better passer of the ball in that position, someone who can do a little bit more when Willock's not at it. And yeah, thank goodness I didn't go. I mean, 9 points at home this season, the worst record in the division. So unless, and this is going to be the reoccurring theme today, unless they pull something out of the hat in January, the confidence just seems to have seeped out of the side. So that was kind of from 50 minutes the most obvious outcome of the weekend for me.
Yeah, is Sheffield Wednesday the one then that you think might be able to trend up and out come what may?
Yeah, I think, yeah, absolutely. You have to say that because of the recent run. What was it? 6 wins from 9, wasn't it, going into the weekend?
Right.
I mean, this was a humbling defeat. They didn't look great defensively. I think Diaby and Palmer were there. But Bernard was in midfield. So there was a few probably...
but in their defence, Sam, Southampton away at the moment is no barometer to judge anybody by, is it?
No, of course not. No, they're purring, again, highlighted by the quality of the goal. Russell Martin getting Adams and Armstrong back in the starting lineup together. Armstrong seems to have mastered that position on the right. So those two were always going to score bundles of goals at this division, and Sheffield Wednesday felt that force at the weekend. But yeah, I thought they were a little bit probably out of necessity rather than the manager tinkering with the tactics. But they've made the most progress over the longer period. I would say QPR short period, and then now they've had 1 point from 18, which is desperate form. So yeah, absolutely Sheffield Wednesday to maybe reel in Huddersfield, which would be an incredible story. Huddersfield's woes, they're
under
flaws.
the points per game there, aren't they? So they're not projecting to hit 46, and you kind of know what you're going to get from Huddersfield, don't you? Where it's almost like, okay, they'll probably track it around a point per game and win the odd game and throw the odd draw in here and there. So they're almost there for the taking. I'm fairly confident that's exactly what Huddersfield will do.
Yeah, I saw the owner had another kind of video. Yeah. And I read an article, actually, I think it was pre-match, where he said, Darren Moore's an attacking manager and we haven't really had the opportunity to give him the tools, but we're going to do so now. Obviously, Alex Matos has come in from Chelsea, a bit of an unknown quantity, played at the weekend, I think, in a kind of attacking midfield role. But we'll see what they'll do in the window. But yeah, 3 wins from 21 tells the story. That lack of real goal threat. I think Koroma and Thomas played as the furthest forward players at the weekend, but they definitely need a striker, unquestionably. And my sentiment about them is definitely they came into this season underpowered for a challenge in the Championship. So, I mean, I wouldn't be daft to suggest that they're going to change manager again, but I think the fans are absolutely asking that question as to why they did feel it was the right moment to move Neil Warnock on and go for Darren Moore, who had a much better opportunity of achieving something at Sheffield Wednesday last year at the other end of the table in League One. So yeah, this is, I think, probably on the balance of that chat as well. 4 teams jostling for 3 places they don't want. That doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean, Sam. Yeah, and I suppose the only thing, just to round this out, always say down at the bottom, the pace is so slow that you just never know. If you play a 3-game week and you win twice, it just your point graph just spikes off the scale. So it's just a case of, can anybody do that?
Yeah, just on this finally, because I think it's relevant. Sheffield Wednesday, 2 games against Coventry, 1 in the cup, and Watford at home. So Coventry, Watford at home, and then Huddersfield. So that's a big one to look ahead to. In what would that be? Around about 3 weeks' time, probably.